Good morning. Continuing to look at Romans 8 and life in the Spirit. I'll cut right to it today. I want to back up one verse to Romans chapter 8, verse 25, which we touched on yesterday, but it's going to lead us into this next section. But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. That was 25. 26. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. So we're trying to wait patiently. In verse 25, we're trying to have hope be alive and active as part of our lives, but sometimes that's a struggle, right? So then comes verse 26. In the same way, in hope, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. The Spirit is watching us, watching over our lives, and says, oh, they're struggling. We do not know what we ought to pray for. Continuing on, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. So hope is really failing. Our patience is growing weak. And we don't even know how to pray. I know you've been to that point, right? Where your emotions are just all tangled up and sitting like a 2-ton weight on your back. And don't even know what to pray for. But the Spirit Himself intercedes for us. So the Spirit looks through all of that weighty tangle that's holding us down, discouragement, hopelessness, and sees our hearts and what the real concerns and cares are. And then where to us it just seems like, oh, Lord, I can't even think. I can't even figure anything out. Oh, I just can't. The Spirit, seeing through all of that, interprets that and turns it into prayers that go up before the Lord. Well, why doesn't the Lord just fix it? Well, He's built this relationship where we need to learn to trust Him, to grow in that trust. And that's where prayer comes in. We're coming to the Lord and saying, I don't have anybody else. And I don't know anything else to do, and I trust You. Even though I don't even know what to say right now, I trust You. And then out of that trust, the Spirit interprets it. And interprets it also, and He who searches our hearts, that's the Spirit, knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. So not only does the Spirit see us and our desires and longings and everything that's churning inside of us, He also knows the will of God. So in other words, God's decided, like Job, okay, I want to take this person to the next level in their faith. And you remember with Job, it took a lot of trial to get him to that next level. At the end of Job, he says, before my ears had just heard about God, but now my eyes have actually seen Him. I'm on a new level with God. And God's decided He's going to do that with one of us. It's time. So the Spirit knows our struggle, also knows what the Father is trying to accomplish in us, and then is able to pray according to that word. Give them strength and endurance, Father, so that they can finish the growth that You have for them, right? The Spirit knows that. We have no idea, maybe, like Job, what's going on. But the Spirit does and can shape those prayers before the Lord in that way. Because the Spirit knows the will of God. Verse 28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So where Job was like, what in the world is going on? What have I done wrong? Why is God punishing me? It was actually for Job's good, taking him that much closer to the Lord. And we know that in all things, good things, bad things, joyful things, painful things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. For those that God foreknew, God knew that you would answer his call, that I would answer his call. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son. Okay, so Ed's going to answer that call. And my goal with Ed is that he will look like Jesus. That he might be firstborn among many brothers and sisters. So if you see my brother and I, a lot of the same attitudes, mannerisms, hair or lack of haircut. If I grow a beard, he's already grown a beard. If I just go to a goatee, he's got a goatee. It's crazy, but it's the way it works. And this is the kind of idea here, that we would conform to the image of his Son, as brothers and sisters. And those that he predestined, he also called. And those he called, he also justified. So he called to me back in 1977, and I answered. And when I answered, salvation started for me. He justified me. I'm okay. I'm not guilty anymore. There's therefore now no condemnation. That first part of Romans 8:1 that I just love. And those he justified, said, okay, you're legally fine. He also glorified. He started changing me, rubbing all the selfishness off, so that his glory could show through. So the Spirit is there. When we're down and feel out, he is praying for God's will in our lives. According, he knows us, he knows God, and he's bringing us along, and we just need to come to God and say, I trust you. I don't know what to say, but I trust you. And God is working that out for our good, taking us deeper with him. Big stuff. Amen? Yeah.